Hi Collective, we are doing a pick a card and you're going to be picking a crystal with your card, so let's go through the options. This is talking about your week ahead, and this could be for any time that you choose to click on this video. So pile number 1 is the Amethyst Quartz, and it's coupled with this oracle card. I don't know if it's clear enough to see. No, it's not. That's not clear. Well, it's the image of a girl walking through a field, and she's got a little, what are those animals called? A deer? A deer right by her side, if you can see kind of the silhouette of it here. And that's the girl. Yeah, I should not have chosen these cards because they're not clear. Well, next time. This is pile number 2. You can choose here the rose quartz and this person walking with their shadow. Shadow walker. That's what I'll call it. Deer walker, shadow walker. What is this? Elk? Let's call this one elk, because I don't know. With clear quartz wand. Okay. So you can make your selection. I will leave the timestamps down below, of course, and you can definitely pause the video. If you're having a hard time, it should be the first one that you're drawn to, but it doesn't have to be. It could be anything. Yeah, whatever you feel. Sometimes when I watch pick cards, I'll choose like the one that my eye is most drawn to, and sometimes I'll go for the second option. Like my first option may be, I don't know, whatever, pile 2, and then I'll be like, oh, actually, I kind of want to watch pile 3. Maybe I'll watch 2 of them. Yeah, it's really up to you, so I'll let you make that decision, and I'm going to start now with pile number 1. Hi, pal 1, you guys chose the Amethyst crystal. And the girl walking the deer. Deer walker. Okay, wow. I'll tell you in a minute why I just said wow. It was really because of the colors in these two, like how they look kind of similar in a way. We'll see if those messages resonate. A lot going on, mainly about kind of having to disconnect. Feeling like you're having to disconnect on some level. Ooh. Okay, before I get to that, it feels like you're having to disconnect. Maybe go within with the Hermit card. This could have been a really spiritual time. It also may feel like a time where you're not fully connecting with the people around you, or the people that you have connected with in the past may feel on some level dubious to you, like you're kind of questioning their motives or questioning their role in your life. And everyone does have a role in our lives. Sometimes it can be misleading when we have seen people in a certain way and then the way that we see them changes. It might just mean that the role that they have has changed. It also might mean that they have fallen off the pedestal in some way, right? But this is a time where you're going within. It's also so reminiscent. The colors are just like driving me wild. So I'm gonna go with the color scheme. Patiently waiting in absolute stillness. So in this hermit mode, you may have been very still, safely held in the love of the divine. Maybe you're doing this out of a need for safety, a calling to kind of be on your own. Allow the key to come forward in its own time. So there might be kind of this grasping for answers, grasping for clarity in this time. And you might want to be somewhere else. You might be wanting to do something else or around other people. And it might just be important for you to gather yourself right now, because the journey is ahead of you isn't clear. You're kind of walking in the dark, the blind leading the blind kind of idea, and needing to gain more clarity and awareness with time. Maybe journaling could be really helpful, even like dream analysis or speaking to someone if that's what need to be. Because I feel like what may be happening here, when we're talking about people not showing up the way that you want them to, or people are showing up differently than how you expected they were going to show up, your eyes will see what you desire. This might be, my eyes see what I desire. This might be a recognition that you're having now, where like, oh, in the past I was just kind of seeing things through rose-colored glasses, seeing what I wanted to see, and maybe not seeing the full truth of a situation. Getting clarity can be harsh, it can be difficult, it can be bitter, but I think it feels a lot sweeter than continuing to remain in situations where you don't have clarity and you are possibly being deceived, or possibly just not seeing the full story, the full scope of what a situation is, or who someone is really in your life and what they're meant to be in your life. This is a time of great healing. With the Temperance card, you're gaining balance, possibly in a situation that's felt like it was causing you a lack of balance in some way, and it's external to you, so it feels like conditions, relationships, work situations, whatever the case may be for you personally, since this is a general reading, may have kind of tipped you off balance in some way. The Temperance card, traditionally 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. And it might be you've been heavily swayed into your emotions at this time and needing to gain some clarity and some distance from a situation. Feels like things are taking off. There's a lot of elements at play that are helping change your life and shift your reality. But it's important that you keep a clear mind, especially here that you've chosen this Amethyst. I feel like needing that intuition to be really strong and to be very clear and reasoning with things, and not just kind of grasping onto solutions or ways out of a problem, but really understanding what it is you're going through. The Journey Home is the Chariot card here. Really beautiful card depicting you moving out of a difficult situation, possibly flying away, moving away, for some, or just kind of gaining flight in terms of courage and strength to move forward. And with that courage comes this solar plexus card talking about confidence, and the throat chakra talking about being able to speak up for things that you're dealing with, or using your creative voice in the work that you do, whether that's your passion project or your actual job. It doesn't really matter. So we are, again, talking about, with flying home, the 8 of Cups, detaching emotionally from a difficult situation, realizing it doesn't serve you anymore, and then from an emotionally detached perspective, you're able to make better decisions with your reasoning mind. We have the Priest here, gaining some kind of help or feedback from authority, from institutions, from religious figures. It feels like there may be other factors involved, other people involved. This might be a bigger decision than just you. There might be someone coming in for assistance, and this is a decision that you need to make, so you're kind of weighing your options and seeing what makes sense for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a decision with the 2 of Pentacles. It could just be that you're juggling 2 things at once. You're putting your energy in 2 different places. And that could be part of what was happening here with the Temperance card, with 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground, needing to get that balance. You might be feeling like part of you is swayed by your emotions, and another part of you is trying to be grounded and very logical at this time. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to choose one over the other, but it might be easier if you are able to center yourself and ground yourself and get balanced before you really decide where you're headed. So this time in the Hermit mode, as difficult as it may be, as much as it may feel like a pause, like the Oracle card was suggesting, it might just be a necessary time for you to get clarity and to understand that this is the time to gather yourself for the journey ahead as yet unrevealed. And instead of wanting to be somewhere else or grasping for new opportunities, let that go. Look and see all that is around you and understand that you're moving in your own time. Allow the key to come forward in its own time. Don't be in a rush, unless, of course, your situation calls for that. And then don't listen to any tarot reader. Just do what makes sense to you. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be moving on to pile number 2. If you choose to stay, I will see you there. Thanks for watching. Pile 2, you guys chose the Shadow Walker with the Rose Quartz. Not actually called the Shadow Walker, I just gave it my own name. Look there. Move away from separation. Take the hand of your shadow self. Look into your eyes. See what challenges you the most. These are the wounds that need to be healed. You both hold many gifts. So, I mean, it's a playful kind of way of talking about shadow work, especially with this artwork here. There's a really interesting drawing, I wonder if I can pull it up, by Shel Silverstein, the poet, the children's writer and illustrator. And it's a kid, I think, who is putting his shadow through the wash. I'm just gonna see if I can find it because it's so interesting. Yeah, I think I just found it, called Shadow Wash. Let's see if I can read that for you. I don't know why. I do things sometimes, not knowing why. I've never washed my shadow out in all the time I've had it. It was absolutely filthy, I supposed. And so today I peeled it off, the wall where it was leaning, and stuck it in the wash tub with the clothes. I put in soap and bleach and stuff. I let it soak for hours. I wrung it out and hung it out to dry. And whoever would have thunk that it would have gone and shrunk, for now it's so much literaler than I. So let's encourage, I guess, that kind of shadow work in a playful way. Maybe you're needing for it to be playful. I just read you a poem for kids, so maybe we're needing to take this shadow work in a childish kind of manner because we might be dealing with the inner child that may have been wounded. I'm just kind of making assumptions at this point because I'm feeling that we're talking in this playful way. Or it's just a really difficult topic to talk about, and if you engage with some humor or engage in a lighter kind of way of doing things, maybe even in artwork, kind of art therapy might be a thing. And seeing your shadow as holding gifts. So seeing the dark side as not so dark because it has a lot to give you. Interesting that we're talking about play and this kind of childish way of seeing things, and we have here the solar plexus, which is all about creativity, also about sexuality, but that's obviously a different thing. Wow, and the sun, which is very creative. Queen of Wands, very creative energy. So you may kind of see yourself as the Queen of Wands. You don't have to be female or female identifying. It's just the way the card is depicted as a woman. But you may see yourself as this really confident, courageous, outspoken, fiery personality. You may have a lot of fire in your chart. You may be a Leo. Not necessary. We're talking about your week ahead, so you may have this kind of influence in your week or someone who influences you that way. It feels like creativity is really strong, confidence is strong, being playful, being courageous, doing shadow work. We're talking about the heart here with the rose quartz, so maybe kind of doing things that open your heart. Blossoming Spirit is the Hierophant. Again, we had the Hierophant in the first reading. So it feels like connecting with authority or connecting with institutions, connecting with religious figures. Marriage for some of you may be like very prominent, very strong in your life, if that is something, right? If you're married or if you're already, if that's kind of in the books for you and you would know, right? Path of balance, being the Emperor. Well, I don't know if I would see the Emperor as balanced. It definitely is a balanced card, but I don't know if it's a path of balance. I would say that you are mastering whatever it is you're doing. You're getting much better at it. Whether it's a creative hobby or a talent of yours, a passion project you're working on, your job, your career. There's a lot of lack of clarity here, but it feels like if you focus on your passion, if you focus on your work, if you focus on your achievements, if you just focus on being in flow, instead of trying to achieve, instead of trying to get to the deadline, instead of making those decisions, get into flow, and through flow, things will start to make sense. But there is assistance here. Could be like governmental bodies, fundraising. It feels like you're really stepping up to the plate. There could be a boss that's helping you, a religious figure, some kind of institution with the Hierophant and the Emperor that's really strong. It's also very masculine energy. And we have the feminine here creating, but then we have the masculine fundraising or a business or something along those lines, managerial. Whenever I compare myself to others, I simply say this prayer. The light I see in them is a reflection of my inner light. So if you're dealing with someone who is like this, and maybe you're feeling them a little bit too dominant or a little bit too bossy, or maybe you yourself are stepping up and finally showing all of your talents, and maybe you're feeling that others are reacting to you like you're being bossy or you're being overly confident, and you're having to rest all of that aside because it's creating some anxiety in your mind. So you're coming back to flow, coming back to creativity, doing that shadow work. Shadow work is often, you see how it's like two people, even though it says shadow, often it's projection from other people. And when it's just other people projecting things onto you, you can do as much shadow work as you want, baby, but you will not solve someone else's problems by, by trying to spiritually bypass or blame yourself for something that you haven't done. You can take responsibility for your part, you can apologize, you can remove yourself from the situation and focus on your own life force, which seems like the best way forward here. I hope this reading made sense to someone. I'm going to respectfully leave it at this point and move on to the next reading. Thanks for watching, and if I see you in the next one, I'll see you there, and if not, hope to see you in another reading. Readings for Pal 3, you guys chose the clear quartz. And what did we call this? Elk? I don't think that's elk, but I need to brush up on my animals. I am here, I see you, do not falter, be strong, keep going, I am with you. I am of the earth, I am of the woods. The path, it's called a stag. The path is clear, there might be a hill to climb, but I am the stag of the dark forest, and I give you my strength. Movement. So maybe you're getting encouraged by someone, maybe you're having support. Hopefully you're having support. If not, this could be like a spirit guide. This could be someone who's passed on. This could be a grandparent. This could be you yourself, your own divine inner being, reaching out to you and keeping you strong, keeping you confident, helping you raise your head up high and move forward through a difficult time, through a difficult journey where you may not see the path ahead. And it might feel dark, it might feel lonely, it might feel terrifying, but you're just kind of being encouraged to be strong and have faith and persevere through the darkness. You're having a really big moment here with alchemy. This is a moment of reawakening. And you're having the root chakra. So this is really talking about your safety, your security, your ability to stand up and be grounded. Wow. Being encouraged to dissolve all boundaries with love. Fast forward communication and developments, 8 of Wands, 6 of Wands. There is some regret, there is some sadness. Things seem to be moving away from your life now. It's swift, it's fast. There's a lot of developments. I'm going to do an unusual thing and just pick an extra card here because I'm unclear. Okay. Communications coming through. This may be a move with the Chariot underneath the deck. Knight of Swords, Death card, big transformation, releasing the old. Five of Cups, there's sadness, there's grief. You may shed some tears. You may get in your emotions about this, but it's important with the eagle here up top to gain perspective from the situation, to elevate yourself beyond everything. You got a full moon there, so you're closing out a cycle. You're releasing something that does not work for you anymore. And instead of saying goodbye, good riddance, I hate you, you know, and wishing someone all these negative things, just dissolve all the boundaries with love. So say goodbye, say your piece. It's such a beautiful way of interpreting, because I don't usually see this card as goodbye. Dissolve all boundaries with love, I usually see as like, I'm gonna love you through, you know, unconditional love. But here I'm seeing it as like, this is an unbearable situation we gotta move through, and there's sadness, but we're gonna do it with love. And you're alchemizing here and returning to spirit. And there's a strong spiritual sense with this deck, with this pile. Interesting that the other two piles got the Hierophant, and I didn't even think to talk. Well, I did. I mentioned religious figures, but I didn't really get into like faith and devotion and like prayer, but I'm really feeling it here. I'm feeling protection being really strong for you. I'm feeling that you're guided. I'm feeling that there are communications coming through, especially through your spirit guides. And they're communicating to you that the path ahead is clear and you can move forward with bounty, with love, with joy, with grace. But you do need to keep your faith. If prayer and devotion are strong parts of your life, they might help you through this time. It feels like there's already been a lot of sadness for a lot of you. You've suffered this grief with the Five of Cups, and you've had to release and you've had to shed, and you've had to kind of maybe have these conversations either with your spirit, with your with God, if you believe in God, whatever your set of beliefs are, about why this happened and what the meaning of it all was. But it feels like now you're being encouraged to move forward through the process, to be strong, to be steady, to commit to your path. You already know what the path is ahead, and you just need to go ahead and do it and complete it. Your emotions are going to be your guide, but sometimes they mislead you. And so it's important to keep yourself steady, especially when you're communicating with others. There's important matters that you're going to be communicating about, especially around movement or any kind of decision-making, contract signing. There's going to be a lot of success coming through communication. And it feels like you're doing this energetic work that dissolves boundaries with your love, with your higher love, and that's what's allowing this fast communication, fast developments, really charging forward, knowing you're safe, knowing you're protected, knowing you deserve this. You're like, this is my birthright. This is my birthright. If I could title each section, I would call it, This is My Birthright. You are bold, you are strong, you are courageous. I see that you've been through a lot. I see that you're feeling that you need to just kind of be carried through on this chariot. And you're really wanting someone to come in and you remember, I am here, I see you, do not falter, be strong, keep going, I am with you, I am of the earth, I am of the woods, the path is clear. There may not be someone to hold your hand through this, but it may just be the divine. It may be your ancestors, it may be spirits, people who've passed on, who are kind of guiding you, angels, God, Almighty, getting you through this difficult time. And I hope, if this is your week ahead, then I hope that you move forward safely and in peace, and focus your mind on higher love, focus your mind on unconditional love, see the good in all, free your mind of any kind of suffering and struggle, and try to be present in the present moment. Focus on your breath, the things that you can actually do, who you can actually communicate with, and move your life ahead. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched all the way, or if you've just watched this reading, this has been The Spiritual Gardener on YouTube, and I will see you in the next reading.